Thank you. And continue. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for inviting me to speak to you all today. My name is Jennifer Salazar, and I'm with the Better Business Bureau Education Foundation. And if that title isn't long enough, I'm also your state director for the Texas Senior Medicare Patrol.
Wow.
So my main duties at the BBB and the Texas S&P is basically I look out for scams. And then when we see scams, we do our best to try to help the person that was scammed, recover from the scam. And it's not only financial, it's also mental. And it's like a loss. It's a grieving process because a lot of people that fall for a scam think, how am I so stupid? Why did this happen to me? And let me tell you something, my friends, it can happen to anyone. My youngest victim I've ever worked with was 14 years old. And my oldest victim was 95 years old. It happens to anyone that's online, has a telephone, or has a front door. Scams can happen anytime, any place. First, let me tell you a little bit about the Senior Medicare Patrol, and then we're going to jump into the top 10 scams of 2021. And the interesting thing about the list of the top 10 scams of 2021, this is based on your telephone calls. Your telephone calls is how we gauge the top 10 scams. I'm not going to lie to you, this could actually be the top 40 of 2021 because we get so many scams at the BBB, but we rank it down to the top 10 based on your phone calls. And guess what? This is the Houston area and all 16 counties around the Houston area. First, the Senior Medicare Patrol. We are delighted to have a grant called the Senior Medicare Patrol that we've had since 2008, and we were just renewed another 5 years. This is a federally funded grant, and it's all over the nation. It's in 54 locations, including Guam, Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands, and even Washington, D.C. And your Senior Medicare Patrol is literally in your backyard. It's in Houston. It's with the Better Business Bureau Education Foundation. We recruit and train volunteers to talk about Medicare fraud, error and abuse, and how to stop it. But if fraud happens, guess what? My team and I build the case. We build the case and then we send it off to official investigators like the FBI, the Office of Inspector General. The list goes on and on and on. And you've probably seen a lot of our cases on the TV. We've had a lot of cases that have come to trial lately, but you'll never hear our name because we are the boots on the ground. We take the cases, we get them to law enforcement. So let's get started. Top 10 scams of 2021. And you get to count them down with me. So first off, did you know you and I are not the only folks that watch the news, read the newspaper? Scammers do too. Scammers love to take things that are real and turn it into a scam because we all know a little bit about something going on in the news, right? Well, scammers prey on that and they will do anything they can to get in your pocketbooks. In fact, it's very sad, my friends, because these guys are literally criminals. They really don't care how they get your money. They play on your heartstrings and they will play on your weaknesses. So number 10, and this one is a hard one, and we've dealt with this for the last 2 years. It's stealing from the grieving. Usually what happens with this one, my friends, is scammers will read the obituaries. They'll read, online obituaries as well, because they're not only in the newspaper anymore. And what they do is they find someone that just recently lost their spouse or an adult child, and then they contact them. And they'll say something like, you have an outstanding debt and your husband took a loan out on your house. And if you don't pay it, you can lose everything. They go to this level to try to get your money. And sometimes they'll even show up at your doorstep and they'll say, you have a loan out. We need your money. We could take your car as collateral. They're going to say whatever they can and try to scare you. Don't be scared. We want to give you not just the top 10 scams. We also want to give you how to not fall for these scams. And Reverend Stone, I forgot to mention, I am happy to email this out to you all. That way you don't have to worry about jotting down all the new notes. And I'm even going to send you the list. All right. So how do we not fall for this one? First one, and I'll be honest, my friends, this is hard for even me. Don't make a fast decision with your pocketbook. I like to have nice, clean credit. I work for the BBB. I want to make sure everything's paid or make a payment arrangement. This is the first time I'm going to say, slow down. Don't make a payment right away. Tell them, let me look into this. Let me get back to you. Research the company. Guess what? You have a friend at the Better Business Bureau now. I'm going to give you my cell phone number. I'm going to give you my office line. I'm going to give you our 1-800 number. You can call me and I'll research the company. In fact, that's a lot of what we do is research companies. And we can tell you if they're legitimate, if they're scammers. If they are a scammer, with your permission, we're going to get that over to law enforcement so they won't do it to anyone else. Request a copy of the contract. And in the contract, I want you to look for things like misspellings, grammar issues. Look for a sloppy signature, because when it's a sloppy signature, more than likely it's definitely a scammer, because a lot of signatures are sloppy. And if it doesn't look like your spouse's signature, definitely a scam. You can even send us the contract and we are happy to look at those with you. And don't ever be embarrassed to ask for help. I know a lot of people are like, they're embarrassed to ask for help, especially with looking at contracts. I recently purchased a new home and I work for the BBB, and guess what? That contract was thick, and I sat there and I read the whole thing, didn't understand a few things. So I called a friend of mine that's a real estate agent and I asked for help. Don't ever be embarrassed to ask for help. Scammers prey on this. Scammers prey on this. Number 9, and we live where hurricanes happen. You guys remember Snowvid? That's what we call that winter storm. It was COVID with the snow, right? Unneeded repairs. Did you know scammers literally drive around neighborhoods and they will try to find homes that look like they need just a little love and tender care, like something looks wrong with the roof, or there's a crack in the window, or even on your vehicle, maybe, a busted taillight or something. These guys will pose as handymen. They will even pose as utility workers or people from the water district, right? And they'll knock on your door and they'll say something like, Miss Salazar, it looks like you have a cracked window. Can we replace that for you? We have leftover materials in our truck and we just need $100 to do it. Can we come back tomorrow and fix it? So they're going to take your money and they're going to run. Or what they're going to do, and we've had this happen a lot in our area, so please listen to this one. They're going to say, in your area, we've noticed a lot of issues with the water. There's materials and waste. Can we test your water? Because we want to make sure it's fresh and it won't give you any toxins or cancers. They're going to make it sound really serious. Then they're going to pretend like they're testing your water. Then they're going to shut off your water. Then they're going to come back in saying we had to shut off your water because it did have contaminants in it. We're going to fix it, but to turn it back on, we need $500. Then if you don't give them the $500, they leave you with your water turned off and they leave. It's basically holding you for ransom because we all need water. So watch out. And the scary thing is, if you do let these folks into your home to do any fixes like home repair, roof, gut outs, anything, they could leave your home in worse damage than what it was if they actually work on your home. Now, a lot of times they take the money and run, but if they were to fix your home, it could make the property worse than what it was in the beginning. So how do we stop this? First off, guess what? I'm sorry, you got to do your homework again. Call us and we can review any of that with you. But whenever you let anybody come into your home to do any type of repairs, just know somebody's just not going to show up on your doorstep out of the blue. You need to do the research and call folks. And I usually recommend calling 3 contractors, and it's like a job interview. They're coming into your home. You're now the boss. Ask to see their resume. Ask to see their license to make sure they're licensed and they're bonded. And whatever you do, always get a contract. Before you let anybody, do any work on your home, get a contract. And if they're like, well, we don't do contracts, you don't want them in your home. And it's okay to fire people. Don't feel bad, because you know what? You don't want damage to your home. Number 8, my friends, I had 6 cases of this last week. The bank fraud prevention scam. This one's really clever. So there is something that happens to our cell phones these days. It's called spoofing. It sounds like a magic trick, spoofing. It's when a scammer can take any phone number they want, any name they want, and put it in your caller ID. That's right. They can make your caller ID look like any phone number out there. And guess what they're doing now? They're making it look like it's your bank are a credit card company, and they're calling you and they're saying something like, Miss Jennifer, it looks like someone's trying to hack into your bank account. We want to go ahead and lock down your bank account, but in order to do so, we need you to get your debit card and turn on the back of it and give us that 3-digit PIN and the expiration date. What? Okay, my friends, this is when we need to slow down. Guess what? For scammers to commit a fraud with a credit card or a bank account, they need that PIN and that expiration date. This is not your bank. This is the actual scammer pretending to be your bank. And it's tricky, and they make it so tricky. Don't give them that information. What you need to do is you need to contact your bank directly. And on this scam, my friends, out of the 6 victims I had last week, 3 of them fell for the scam because they really believed it was their bank, and they just got paid their Social Security check. So they were in panic that someone was trying to take their money. The good news is on 2 of them, we were able to get with local law enforcement and the bank to get it stopped. But we did have 1 victim that did lose their funds. So let's prevent this. Let's prevent this. Did you know, according to AARP, the more we know about scams, the less likely we are to fall for them. So how do we prevent this? Never share your personal information over the telephone. Even if it says it's your bank on the phone, don't share your personal information with them, because I promise you, it's your bank. They already have everything they need. Even if that caller ID looks like it's the bank, I promise you, it is not your bank calling you for your expiration date and your PIN, because the bank does not call you for that information. I want you to take out your debit card or your credit card and call that phone number instead of the one they're using on the phone. A lot of times the ones they use on the phone is a digit or 2 off than the real bank. Number 7, and this one is popular, and yes.
Can I hop in? Because I think it's
Yes.
helpful for people to know. We actually almost got phished last year as a church about, oh, Ellen, how long has it been? Maybe it's been 2 years. Somebody called from our power company, and sure enough, it showed up. And it's happened before that we've had a delayed check. And so they said, like, hey, your payment didn't go through, and you guys need to pay whatever this bill is, or you're going to lose power, right? And so I stayed on the line, and the guy said, well, you need to download the Cash app. And that was a super red flag, right? So fine. I mean, I almost did it. And I was like, no, I'm just going to call back. And then he hung up.
And I'm so glad you shared that, because they go to churches, they actually try to scam a bank. They actually scammed the city of El Paso, and they fell for it. It's not just the consumers anymore. It's not just us, y'all. It's everywhere. And, I do say this, how can they have a soul when they even try to scam a church? But they do. And unfortunately, they can be very suspicious. So for those of you that don't know what phishing is, first off, I promise you I spelled it correctly, because I had a lady a few weeks ago say, Jennifer, that's not how you spell phishing. So I had to tell her it's not the kind of fishing I like to do on my weekends. And yes, I love to fish, especially perch and flounder. And sometimes I have to get those nasty catfish off my line. But it's not the kind of fishing we like to do. This is when, if you have email, this is when someone can send you an email and pretend they're somebody they're not, kind of like what they do with spoofing. They can also do that with email. And what they do with email is they can make any name they want. They can even make it look like Jennifer Salazar is going to send an email to Reverend Stone. And it even has Jennifer Salazar's name on there, right? But it's not me. It's a scammer using my name to try to scam you. But more importantly, they do this from Amazon, UPS, FedEx, your favorite flower shop, your favorite store. The scammers kind of follow you in a way. If you're on social media, they kind of see what you like. For example, I have 2 young ladies, a 13 and 11-year-old. So we do look at a lot of clothes online. I constantly get emails from their favorite stores, but it's not them. It's scammers. Why are they doing this? Why would they even want to try to scam us this way? Well, let me tell you, what they do is they're trying to get you to open the email and click on a link. For example, my daughter Emily received something from her favorite clothing store, and it says, Emily, click here to get a 50% savings. And she's like, oh yeah, I want 50% off, but Mom says that's definitely a scam because she listens to my speeches. If she would have clicked that, guess what? It could have loaded a virus to her computer. So what I want you to do is I want you to take this little thing right here, our mouse. And when you get an email, if you get an email from Jennifer Salazar, from Reverend Stone, from anybody, I want you to put your mouse on top of their name. Like I want you to put your mouse on top of Jennifer Salazar. I want you to wait 5 seconds, and then an email address is going to pop up. And if it says jsalazar@bbb.org, that's more than likely me, right? But if it says 123bananas.hotmail, that's definitely not Jennifer Salazar or Reverend Stone. So scammers can steal our names, but they can't steal our email addresses, which is great. So all I want you to do is delete it. Don't respond to it. Don't click on it. When you see it's not Jennifer Salazar, I want you to delete it. Watch out for Amazon, FedEx, especially during the holidays, because a lot of times you think, oh, maybe somebody sent me a package. It's those scammers trying to get in, and they can load those nasty viruses to your computer. Number 6.
Jennifer, can I ask
Oh, yes, sir. Go ahead.
So we've had this happen at church where people have like hacked my email. And I've tried to tell folks, look, if I'm asking you for a gift card, I don't do that. But we had a few people do that, and somebody hacked the Bishop of Texas. So I have a really good friend, and these are smart people, right? Who felt really honored that the bishop had asked them a favor, but of course the bishop had not asked them this favor, right? And that was part of it, is looking at the address. And it's so easy because you see somebody's name and you just go, and the same, I mean, with Amazon, if you get a weird email from Amazon, you recommend just log into your account and see if that shows up. Don't click the email, like click on Amazon itself, right?
Exactly. Don't click on the email. Go to Amazon itself, and watch out how you spell Amazon, because there's something called typo squatting. And what that is when scammers take a website, like of one of our favorite stores, for example, JCPenney's, and they misspell it, but then they register that website under them. Like they, instead of penny with PENN, they miss one of the N's. And you think you're shopping on JCPenney's website, but it's a scammer's website. And I'm so glad you brought up the gift cards, because that's coming. But we get a lot of scams with gift cards. Anytime anyone asks you for a gift card, if it's email, if it's telephone, if it's a robocall, which we're going to get to those, that's a red flag. Scammers love gift cards because guess what? There's no way to trace them. We had a wonderful gentleman. I did a speech last week for a wonderful synagogue, and he actually got a email from one of his friends. One of his friends went on a cruise. They all knew he was going on a cruise because he posted it on Facebook. So he got an email saying that, friend, I'm on the cruise. I lost my wallet. I lost everything. Can you send me some Visa gift cards? I need 4 of them, 300 a piece. I will pay you when I get home. He actually went and bought the gift cards. But when he was at Kroger buying the gift cards, the cashier said, sir, well, if you don't mind me asking, sir, why are you buying all these gift cards? And he said, my friend is trapped and I don't know what to do. And the manager came over and they talked to him. And guess who they called? Me. Because a lot of times, a lot of the stores, the banks have our phone number on speed dial, either myself or Candy Twyman, our executive director. And I talked to the gentleman. We confirmed, we actually got with Caribbean, and we actually confirmed that it was not him. It was definitely a scam, because some people need that reassurance that their friend is not in danger. So whenever you go on social media, and I'm jumping a little ahead, because how many of us, if you don't mind me asking, I'm not picking and you don't have to raise your hand, how many of us are on Facebook? I am, because I like to communicate with my friends and family. I'm originally from Beaumont. So a lot of times that's how we stay in touch, is Facebook. When you're on Facebook, my friend, don't post your business. And if you do post your business, wait till you're back from your trip. Even if you're just going to Austin to visit your grandkids or your kids, or even if you're going to your favorite restaurant, don't post it, because scammers also look at Facebook. And even if you have that private setting, they can still look at all that information. So don't post it, because it might be one of your friends getting that email saying that you lost your purse and you need money. And when they click the link to give them money or go get those gift cards, you'll never get it. It's going to the scammer. Thank you, Reverend Stone, for bringing that one up. Go ahead. Yes, ma'am.
Jennifer, I'm not sure I understand what you mean by putting that up there. I mean, with that up to the email address.
Okay, so when they send you stuff in email, is that what you're asking? Like
Yes,
when they
yes.
send?
And you take your mouse and put it up there?
Oh, yes, sir. Okay, so like, for example, and if you don't mind, I'm going to skip some slides to show you an example. Hold on one second, my friends. And I'm sorry, you're going to see one of our #1 scams. So, okay, do you see this right here where it says from?
Yes.
Like, you get an email and it'll say like from Jennifer, or, and this says from welcome, right?
Yes.
Yes.
So then you'll take your mouse and you're going to put your mouse over the word welcome, because it's going to say from Jennifer or from Reverend Stone or from welcome or Amazon. So you put your mouse, which is going to look like an arrow. You're going to put that on top of that word. And then if you wait a few seconds, this is going to pop up right here. The home 2102 at Hotmail. That's how you're going to know if it's a fake or not. Because
Okay.
like the government, I'm sure Reverend Stone, myself, we don't have Hotmail accounts when it's our professional business.
No.
We usually have .org or .gov or, and I see him smiling, so he knows, we're not going to send you a Hotmail account. Amazon's not going to send you something through a Gmail account. And when in doubt, call us. I know that sounds silly, and I can't emphasize that enough. We care so much about you that myself and my executive director, Candy Twyman, we both give you our cell phone numbers, because even if a scam happens on a weekend, we'll take a few minutes to talk to you about it, because we don't want you to fall for these. So if you get an email saying .com or .org or something that just doesn't look right, call us. And we're going to get to this, especially at the end with the COVID shots, because we're seeing a lot of scams. Does that answer your question, Mr. Tim? If not, we can talk about it some more.
No, that's fine.
Okay, it means you can get together after too, and we can talk about it. Before I go on with the count, does anybody have any questions? Yes, ma'am. And you got to unmute your line so I can hear you.
I was just saying that the hovering over, if you hit forward, it will also give you the entire email to show that,
Really?
yes, that it is not correct.
And I'm going to write that down, Miss Susan, because I did not know that. Thank you.
Yes.
So hit forward. Okay. See, even I learned stuff.
And Jennifer, one other thought, and you may be doing this, but
Yes,
a
sir.
lot of people on Facebook are getting their accounts hacked. And usually if somebody waves at me on Messenger, to me, that's a clue. If somebody waves, this is a hack. Usually what I'll do is ask them a question about their spouse, but I'll use the wrong name on purpose. Inevitably, what happens is they'll say like, have you heard about this government program? Usually that's when I write like, shame on you, because you've stolen somebody's stuff. And like, these are real people that you're hurting. But normally I ask questions that only the real person would know. And then if they don't know it, then I block them, if that makes sense from my.
No, it does. And Reverend Stone, you need to come work with us in your spare time, which I'm sure you don't have any spare time, because that's actually, we're going to get into that in number 6.
Okay.
And oh no, but this is wonderful. I love these kinds of discussions, and especially when you see it as well, because I mean, it tells us that our top 10 is right on count, because again, this is based on the phone calls we're getting. And it falls into the grandparent scam. It falls into the romance scam, because when they're doing the high or the government scams, they're testing to see if you will respond back to them, because they're going to want something in return, which we're going to talk about in just a little bit. Someone else had a question?
Yeah,
I saw
I'm
somebody
wondering-
raise their hand. Yes, ma'am.
I keep getting calls. They sound really fishy. Supposedly from a Galveston, that is from a Galveston number. I keep trying to kill the number. They say Amazon has had so much money taken out of my account or credit, and I can't find anybody at Amazon that will deal with it,
Because it's not Amazon, my friend. It is definitely a scammer. And what we could do is, if sometime in your spare time, if you want to email me or call me those phone numbers,
Okay.
because we send those to the Federal Trade Commission too.
Okay.
We take a list of the numbers they're
Yeah, I
using.
know where I do talk to Amazon, it sounds really, really phony, and they ask me to do things that I won't do. So that
It is not Amazon. It is people pretending to be Amazon. And the best thing to do, even if you block them, they're spoofing. So that means they're using so many different phone numbers to call you.
Mhm.
They're going to keep calling you. So
Mm.
the best thing to do is hang up on them. If you do pick up and they start saying they're from Amazon, get a cowbell. I know this looks silly,
Mhm.
But you can get this like for $2 and just ring it in their ear. They're not going to call you back. They are scammers. Get a whistle. And I'm sorry, Reverend Stone, I know that's not very Christian of us, but these guys are bad, you know, and I even told my priest about that I was telling people to do that. So, but they won't call you back. Now I feel guilty. Now they won't call you back or anything, but it's really, guys, these are criminals. They shouldn't be harassing you. They're after your money. They're going to do anything they can to get your money. And it's sad because when we count down this list, I'm going to tell you some stories that are sad. Like, I'm sorry, it doesn't get worse when you try to target a widow that just lost their spouse. It gets worse. It gets worse. And they take people like us in our good nature, people that go to church, that volunteer, that do everything they can. They will target us because they know that we will probably open our pocketbooks. And you'll be amazed at some of the things we're going to talk about. And I want to hear your stories too. And because this is how we stop these scams, is we share as a community. We share as a community. And that Amazon scam, y'all, that's hot. That has been hot since Amazon began. But I promise you, ma'am, it's not Amazon. I promise you. Any other questions before we get to looking for love? Okay. Now, I always make the joke because I remember as a little girl, now I'm 40 years old, okay? But I remember watching Urban Cowboy, and my mom got so mad at me because that was forbidden back in the day with John Travolta. And you guys probably remember that movie, possibly. But Looking for Love in All the Wrong Places is one of the best country songs, in my opinion. This takes effect today. This is the fake sweetheart and the fake relative scam. So I'm sure if you guys have ever watched Dr. Phil, and if you guys have ever watched TV, you might have heard something called catfishing or the romance scam. What this is, my friends, is when someone pretends to be a love interest and they're not. Kind of like what Reverend Stone was just saying. If somebody sends you a message on Facebook, just waving, did you know that could also be a way for the romance scam to begin? Because what this is a lot of times scammers will do anything they can to get into your life. Now, we've seen this in so many different ways. We've seen it after the loss of a loved one. A scammer did some research. He researched an obituary. He found out where the gentleman went to high school. He found out all the stuff. He waited a few weeks and he called the widow to offer his condolences and said, you know, I knew your Freddie. We were best friends in high school. In fact, if you go to our high school yearbook, our senior year, I'm on page 82. That's when we won the game against, you know, East Chambers. I mean, it went on and on and on, the scam, right? And she believed it. And they became a friendship. And then it developed into a love, right? And then when he asked her for $1,000 on a gift card because he wanted to come see her, she knew it was a scam. But she actually figured it out. We've seen this scam in so many different ways. It can happen over the internet. It can happen over a telephone call, but you'll never meet this person in person. So what they do is they might wave at you on Facebook, or my grandmother gets these all the time. She got one while she was visiting me last week, and it said, Linda, you have such a beautiful face. I would love to become friends with you. And the gentleman in the picture of the message is in a full army uniform. And my grandmother is a very young, 86 years old. This gentleman is younger than I am at probably 25 years old. He doesn't want to become her friend. Come on now. So I put shame on you. We'll just say that's what I said, because it was a scammer. What they try to do is, ladies, they will pretend like they're retired military, retired doctor. They have a lot of money and they're prestigious. Gentlemen, they'll pretend like they're a struggling mom going to school and just need a few bucks to make it. Or, and I'm embarrassed to say it, but I'm just going off of our statistics, they act like they're a model in another country and they're interested in you. They're just trying to get you to become their friend. And they may even send you presents. For example, we had a lady, 91 years young, that she would get roses once a week from her romantic interest. Now, her story is, her guy contacted her 4 years ago. So this has been going on 4 years. She believes it's love. She has a wonderful church in Houston, wonderful church. They even did an intervention with her. They're even doing counseling with her, which I think is wonderful. But this guy became her romantic interest. They've been dating 4 years online. He's been sending her money. So she knows it's not the romance scam. And what it is he's ex-military. He's stuck in Afghanistan. He's just trying to make it home. He can't come home because he owes taxes. And can he send her money? And she just put it in the bank accounts to pay his bills. And he lets her keep $100. So she's making money. Stop. She did not realize, my friends, this is money laundering. She did not realize that she was doing something wrong. She had no idea. And you know how we found all this out? Her computer crashed. She was so desperate to keep talking to him. Her daughter let her borrow her tablet. And her daughter didn't even know of this romance because he isolated her. He didn't want her to tell their romance to anyone. So she didn't even know about it. The daughter didn't know anything about it. Then when the mom's computer was fixed, she gave the daughter back the tablet, and the daughter was just kind of going through the tablet, cleaning stuff, to get it ready for her daughter going to college. And the daughter is human. She was nosy. She wanted to see what her mom was looking at. Then she found this guy's profile. Then she found all the text messages, and she talked to her mom. And then the whole world stopped because we found out everything. And the wonderful news is, we cannot convince her it's not love, but the wonderful news is she has a wonderful church background. Her deacon is working with her through this because it is like a loss. She's going through the grieving process because she really believed she was in love. And she still believes it's love, but they cut off communication and he just went away. He's not even trying to contact her. So she feels used. So the best way we can tell you guys not to fall for this, because anyone can fall for this, be wary of people that try to become your friend online, especially when you didn't meet them. Scammers read your social media. Scammers read everything. Believe it or not, even if you're on private settings, they can find things about you. Even if you didn't post anything about yourself, you're probably on the internet. Example, if you go Google Jennifer Parker, Beaumont, Texas, you will find my prom picture from 25 years ago. Did I put it on the internet? No, someone else did. So no matter what, things about you are on the internet. Your marriage license, when you bought your home, things about you are on the internet. If you do believe you are in love or have a friend, you can send us their picture. We don't judge you. We don't tell you, we don't talk down to you, or you can do this yourself. There's a website called Scam Survivors and 10i. And with 10i, you can take a picture of them. You can put it on that website. And what that website does is it runs all through the internet, and it will tell you how many pictures of that person's on the internet. We did that with our victim that's 91 years old, the one I was just telling you about. We took her gentleman, put him on that website. And do you know how many websites that gentleman is on? 5,963 websites. So she's not our only victim. There's probably a lot of them out there. And the reason they call this catfishing, if you've ever gone catfishing, there's a special kind of line you can use with multiple hooks. So you can catch more than one at a time. That's why they call this scam catfishing, because you can get caught on multiple hooks. This has also evolved, especially with COVID. It's not just lost loves, and it's not just the romance scam. We've also seen lost relatives. For example, a lady and her husband, a daughter and dad stopped talking a few years ago because the dad had an alcohol problem. They went to intervention. He refused to get help. The daughter cut him out of her life. She received a beautiful letter from her dad saying that he was sober. He wants to talk to her. They want to set up a reunion. But the last paragraph, in order to do that, I need a few $100s because I need to see you. She sent us a letter. We verified a bunch of stuff. And the thing that breaks my heart about this one, because I'm close to my dad, is we found out the dad passed away in 2008. It was a scam. Someone found out about the dad. Someone found out about his problem. And guess what? We went to her Facebook page with her permission. She is a strong advocate to help people get clean. She told the story back, I think it was in 2002, about her dad. Scammer put all this together, wrote this letter, didn't verify if the dad passed away or not. She almost fell for it. So no matter what, don't ever be embarrassed to call us. What we tell you is confidential. We have a federal grant, so you've already paid for the service. We're there to help. We are there to help. Anything before I move on to number 5? Any thoughts or comments? All right. Number 5, you're in for a treat. 2-for-1 special. Literally last week, because this is a weekly thing that we update, we had 98 calls on both of this scam. We had 98 calls on Social Security and 98 calls on Medicare. Have you guys ever gotten a phone call saying it's Social Security? And doesn't matter your age. Oh, see, doesn't matter your age. I've gotten this call at 40. My husband, 38, got this call. His brother, 25, got this call. All of our clients get this call. Some reason, some way, they want your Social Security number. Now, back in the day, Social Security numbers used to be used for everything. When I was growing up in Beaumont, my mom's utility bill, her account number was her Social Security number. When my grandfather was in the military in Korea, his military ID was a Social Security number. Social Security numbers used to be used for everything. It's how they identified you. But fast forward 30 years, okay? Because right around 30 years ago, they stopped using your socials for everything. However, not everybody knows that. And we are talking about the greatest generation that thought that socials are used for everything. And you might think they still are, but they're not, because of identity theft. In identity theft, all you need is a Social Security number. And did you know those scammers can do a lot with your social? They can take out jobs in your name. They can take out credit in your name. They can even file taxes in your name. They can do a lot of damage with your Social Security number. So whatever the scam is trying to get your Social Security number, we've seen millions of scams. Social Security calling you to verify your records. Your Social Security number was linked to a crime. There's millions of ways they try to get this information. But to keep you safe, this is what you need to know. You need to know that, you get your Social Security check, it goes into your bank. Well, guess what? Your Social Security number in your Social Security bank account, that's where it could be your normal bank account where your Social Security number goes. Either way, know that Social Security does not have the power and will not suspend, revoke, freeze, or block your Social Security number or the bank account. They won't do that. Also, if you believe that Social Security is trying to reach you, you need to call them on their main line. Now, if you're impatient like I am, I hate to admit that, that's one of my downsides. Call me. I have a special line. We'll do a 3-way. I'll get you in so you don't have to have that 20-minute wait. Now, let me explain this though. The people from Social Security, if you ever talk to them, they're not going to cuss. They're not going to yell. They're not going to have a heavy accent. The people calling you will probably be ugly and rude and do whatever they can to get your Social Security number. The real Social Security Administration will not pull any of those. If you get an email trying to get your Social Security number, and if it says ssa.gov, it is not Social Security. The government, I promise you, is not going to text you. They're not going to call you, and they're not going to show up on your doorstep. Now, you may get a certified letter from the IRS if you owe money, but they're not just going to come and get you. I promise. You can ask Willie Nelson. They're going to send you a certified letter. Now, my specialty, Medicare, and I'm assuming some of us are on Medicare, maybe not. You guys look like a young bunch, but in case you are, you may get a phone call from someone pretending to be Medicare. Now, let me tell you this. You'll get a call from the Queen of England, a call from Elvis from his grave before you get a call from Medicare, because it's not going to happen. Back in 1965, when President Lyndon B. Johnson, and where's he from? Texas, that's right, he's one of us. When he signed Medicare into legislation, I couldn't get that word out. That was his one and only fraud protection back in 1965. That was the only fraud protection for Medicare. Fast forward to 2021, now we have 1 million fraud protections, but this one's still in play. Medicare is not going to call you over the phone, but scammers want your Medicare number. You know why? Medicare numbers are worth at least $30,000. My smallest case was $18. My biggest case was $134 million off of a Medicare number. What scammers can do is they take your Medicare number and they create something called a claim. which when you go to your doctor's office, any of us, and they write up, your visit, then they turn it into their billing department. They write up what's called a claim. Then they send that to our insurance. If you're on Medicare, they send it to your Medicare, right? Medicare, once they get it, they have 30 days to process that. In one business day, you're going to get a math lesson. One business day, Medicare goes through 5.5 million of these claims. 5.5. They only review 3% of them. They want the rest of you to look at your Medicare summary notice. If you see something that looks wrong, like double billings, if you see a doctor you don't recognize, equipment you didn't order, they want you to call us at the Senior Medicare Patrol or Medicare, because it's probably fraud, error, or abuse. And these guys are tricky. They're going to do anything they can to try to get your Medicare number. They might call you on the phone and say something like this. Hi, this is Jennifer from Medicare. Did you know that, did you get your new Medicare card? Was it paper or plastic? It was paper. Oh, on behalf of the federal government, I apologize. I'm so sorry. I want to mail you one in plastic. In fact, the new Medicare cards have microchips, just like a credit card. You can put it in the doctor's machine and it just spits right out. We just need your Medicare number to confirm. That is definitely a scam. Your Medicare card, guys, and I'm sorry to tell you this, and I don't represent the government when I say this, there's so many people on Medicare, they can't afford the plastic cards. They can't afford microchips. You're going to get that paper card. And gentlemen, please don't be like my husband and his fishing license. Don't leave it in your wallet where your wife might wash it in the washing machine. Those cards are paper. They are thin. They can break, okay? Medicare's not going to invest in the plastic. Now, the newest scam we're getting on the Medicare is, hi, this is Jennifer with Medicare. You qualify for a COVID-19 packet. We're going to send you hand sanitizers. We're going to send you masks. We're going to send you vitamin C to boost that immune system. Medicare pays for it. I just need your Medicare number. Whenever you get a telephone call, if it's someone pretending to be Medicare, Reverend Stone, close your eyes, get your cowbell, get your whistle, blow it and ring it, because these are scammers. They shouldn't be harassing you. These are definitely, guys, seriously, don't ever give your Medicare number over the phone. If you did, please call us. We don't judge. We go into what we call protective mode. We contact Medicare with you. We help you look at your Medicare summary notices. If there are scams on those summary notices, we work with the Texas Attorney General's office, with Medicare, everybody we can to try to keep you safe and to keep that prevention going. So please don't be embarrassed. Number 4, woo, we are working our way down, guys. So number 4 is a tech support scam. And I'm sure if you have a computer, an iPhone, or even a telephone, you have probably gotten a scam. So if you're on your computer playing one of your games, now I'm an old soul. I like to play Mahjong or solitary. So when I was on my computer the other day, I get a pop-up saying it was Norton. And there's a virus on my computer. And in order to stop it, I need to click and let tech support look at my computer. The worst thing you can do is click on that. Let me tell you why. These guys are pretending to be tech support, but they're actually going to load viruses to your computer called malware. And what these viruses can do is they can log your keystrokes. What does that mean? If you looked at your bank account, if you looked at, like, if you work for a company, your business information, any of that, these scammers can figure out your passwords. And they can go into your accounts. They can hack into your email. They can send stuff out on your behalf. This is scary. Or you might get a phone call in the middle of the night saying, hi, this is Jennifer with Apple. We detected a virus on your computer. We need $500 to fix it. And they seem to catch you when you're the most vulnerable. When my uncle passed away, my mom got this scam in the middle of the night. She was in Amarillo, and it said, Miss Parker, we're sorry you have a virus on your computer. Can you go ahead and pay us $500? We'll fix it. My mom was devastated. She wasn't thinking. She was this caregiver. She automatically gave the $500. Then she called me on Sunday morning at 2 a.m. and I thought, oh my goodness, what's going on now? Pick up the phone. She goes, Jenny, I just made the worst decision and it was out of my debit card. So we went into protective gear right away. We were able to get with the bank at 8 a.m. We were able to stop and all this. But here's the problem. She used her debit card. The scammer took out $1,000, which she didn't have. Her bank with, overdraw. So we had to do a lot of work to get it fixed. Guess what? She posted on her Facebook page about my uncle, and they tend to prey on our weaknesses. She would have never done that ever, because my mom is a very educated, smart woman, but this can happen to anybody. We had a gentleman from NASA, guys, and he wasn't a rocket scientist, but he was an accountant, very smart, PhD, multiple PhDs, because he told us all about it. He fell for this scam. Anybody can fall for these scams. Anybody, any age group, any education level. So how do we stop this? Never click on pop-ups. Never click on it. Ask my husband. He got a pop-up about going fishing in Sam Rayburn a few years ago, and it was on my computer. He clicked it. My computer died. Okay. Don't click on pop-ups. Change your social media and your emails. Change those passwords about every 6 weeks, and do passwords that you remember, but other people will forget. Now, gentlemen and ladies, not to be rude, don't use your birth dates, don't use your significant other's birth dates. And I tell my husband, you can forget our wedding anniversary, that's okay, because don't use our wedding anniversary for your passwords, because he used to. Because scammers know a lot of times we use dates that we remember, like birth dates, anniversaries. Don't use any of those. And change the password for something you remember, but others don't. If we have memory problems, now I'm 40 and I've got 2 kids, and I also volunteer as, first grade catechism teacher and all this stuff. I have a ton of things going on. Plus I work, soccer mom. I forget my passwords. So write them down, put them somewhere that only you know. Okay. And that keeps you safe, because even I forget my passwords. Now, number 3. Yes, we've seen the grandparent scam for years, and we used to call it the emergency scam or the grandparent scam. Now we call it the grandchild hook, because it has changed a lot. And my friends, it is number 3 on our list. Last year it was number 8, but number 3, and we believe a lot of it has to do with COVID. Now, back in the day, you would get a phone call, usually 3 a.m. in the morning, and it would go like this. Nana, it's Jenny, and it's spring break, and I'm in Tijuana, and they found drugs in my car, and they're going to put me in jail, and I don't know what to do. Can you please save me? Don't tell mom and dad they're going to kill me. Okay, that used to be the scam back in the day. Or I've been in a car wreck, or something happened, or something horrible. And guess what? As a grandparent, now I know as a mom, but as a grandparent, you're going to save your babies, right? You're going to save those babies. Well, it's changed. Now, instead of the emergency being like, I was arrested or I'm stuck in another country, now they're using COVID. Just last week, let me look at my log because I keep records. Just last week, I've got 22 calls on this scam. And out of the 22, 16 of them were COVID. What happened was the scammer would call the grandparent, and they always got their name right, because grandparents have different names: Gigi, Nana, Grammy, Papa, whatever. They always got the names right, because guess what? The grandchild posted your name on social media. Now, what they would do is say, Nana, it's Jenny, and I lost my job because of COVID, and I need help with rent, but there's a light at the end of the tunnel. I have a job interview, and I've gained a few extra pounds. I need a new suit. I need a haircut. Can you help me out? And, Jimmy's braces haven't been tightened in a long time, and they're going to play on your heartstrings. They're going to make it so horrible. They need money. But there's something else with this new grandparent hook. They're not just using COVID. Whatever you do, like Reverend Stone said, don't send gift cards. Don't send money. The minute they ask for gift cards or money, definitely a red flag, besides them calling you saying they lost their job with COVID. The way to stop this scam is to develop a code word that only you and your family know. So if you do get a phone call from a grandchild, use a code word. Say, what's my code word? If they don't know, it's a scammer. Take Reverend Stone's advice. Ask them questions only they know. Say, well, how's the dog doing? They don't have a dog. Ask them questions only they know. But there's something even more scarier that I really want you all to know about. There's a new technology where if you do speeches like I do, if you do sermons like Reverend Stone, even if you pick up your phone, scammers can get your voice. They just need a small recording of your voice. They take it to a computer. They can put your voice in a sequence kind of, and they can make it sound like you're calling your grandparent. They can take my voice and say, hi, grandmother. I'm stuck over here. I need gift cards. they can do what they want now with voices. So if you get a phone call, if they get your name right, Grammy, Grandpa, whatever, if they get the grandchild's name right, more than likely they got those two things on the internet. Even if you don't post anything, your grandchild probably does. If it sounds just like your grandchild, they probably got a recording of their voice. So what I want you to do, again, ask for the family code word. Ask questions only they know. But something that we all need to do, guys, and I know this is hard, especially in today's society, try to stay close to your family, know what's going on in their lives, know where your grandchild's at, if he's in college or if he's working, because I think knowing about each other and what's going on will also prevent these scams. Now, before I hop into number 2 and number 1, do we have any questions? Any comments? Because number 2 and number 1 are real doozies.
Mhm.
Okay, so I'm going to keep going. Are you ready? Number 2, robocalls. Does anyone get robocalls? Don't they annoy you? Press 1, press 2. Do you know why scammers use robocalls? They take a computer and the computer can dial 5,000 calls in 5 minutes. They could do like 5,000 calls in 5 minutes. So 1,000 calls in a minute. And they're putting together all these different phone numbers, right? They're putting together all different phone numbers. And what they do is like they put all these phone numbers together and they're hoping you will say hello or press 1 to remove your name from the list or whatever. They're trying to verify if your phone works or not. They're trying to verify if the phone numbers they have are correct or not. And then if I say hello, they just register that that phone works. Then what they're going to do is they're going to take that phone number and they're going to research it. And on that phone number, they might find out that belongs to Jennifer. Jennifer lives in Spring. They might go to something called Google Earth. That's where you can go on the internet, type in an address, and you might can see the location. They're going to say, oh, Jennifer has a blue car. Okay. And Jennifer lives in Montgomery County. And oh, Jennifer's sheriff's is named Sheriff Gonzalez. So then you know what they're going to do? They're going to call Jennifer a few days later. Is this Miss Salazar? Yes. This is the IRS. You haven't paid your taxes back in 2005. If you do not pay today, we're going to reprocess your blue CRB and Sheriff Ed Gonzalez is coming to arrest you.
Mhm.
They get this off the robo scam. That's why we get so many robocalls, is because they're going to take this and they're going to scam you. Did you know 60% of the phone calls coming on your phone are these robocalls? And I'm sorry to tell you this bad news, guys. Did you know Texas, we were number 1 in 2008, 2018, 2019, 2020 for receiving the most robocalls in the nation. So we are prime target for these robocalls. So how do we stop them? First, and guys, I know this one's hard. If you don't recognize the phone number, don't pick it up. And one thing scammers love to do, especially with the robocall, is use your area code in the first 3 digits of your phone number. Now, I'm from Beaumont. I still have the same phone number I had when I went to Lamar University, 409-550. I live in Spring. I work in Houston. Guess how many calls I get a day that's 409-550? A ton. Because scammers think I might pick up the phone, okay? So the first line of defense is defense against the robocalls is, did you know on your cell phones, there's usually a free app where you can put it on your phone to stop these calls. When I send this email out to Reverend Stone with the top 10, the PowerPoint, I'm also going to send you a list of all the cell phone providers that we have talked to at the BBB and the free apps that you can put on your phone. If you get confused with these apps, please call us. We can help you through that. I used to love to do this speech in person because I would wait at the end, stay about an hour, and I would help you load these to your phones, but I can still do it virtually. Okay, so are you ready for the number 1 scam of 2021? Guess what? It's COVID. We have gotten so many COVID scams. And my friends, this would be a 3-hour presentation just on COVID scams. Don't worry, I see some of you guys looking like, oh no, I'm not going to keep you 3 hours, I promise. We narrowed this down to what we're seeing the most of right now. So scam artists are calling, posting, emailing, texting false information about COVID. For example, preventative medicine or medicines that can cure corona, fake advertisements. Anytime you see the word cure in an advertisement, friends, it's a scam. I can guarantee you it's a scam. There's no such thing as a cure for anything. You know, if you have cancer or diabetes, your doctor's not going to say, we're going to cure you. They're not. They're going to say, we're going to fight it, but they're not going to say, we're going to cure it. Okay. Now, we've seen a lot of fake advertisements as well. And the COVID packet where they try to send it to you with Medicare. And also one of my favorites, if you want to get your COVID-19 vaccine faster, you can pay an extra amount and you can skip the line. This is not a fancy restaurant. This is not where you give the maitre d', you know, an Alexander Hamilton, a $20 bill, and you cut the line. It's not like that. But I want to tell you about the two biggest scams we're seeing the most of right now. The first one, anybody that has gotten their COVID-19 shot, you get a card. Okay, you get a card showing where you got your shot, and it has like an official logo and stuff on it. And I'm so proud of anyone that goes and gets their shots. I had my second shot Monday, and I have my card, and we're proud. It's like when we go vote, we're proud that we went to vote, right? We put it on the internet. Do not post these cards on the internet. And I know that sounds silly because you want to share it, but guess what? Scammers are taking these cards to commit identity theft. If you take a picture of your card and you put it on the internet, scammers are not just trying to get your information, because your name and your date of birth's on there. That's two things they need for identity theft. But scammers are taking that card and they're making copies of it and they're selling it. Why would people want that card, and why would they sell it? That sounds crazy, right? They're making money. You know why? Because not everybody's going to get their COVID shots. And what they're doing is they're selling it to people going back to work, going back to school, certain housing units, and travel situations. So if you don't want to go get your COVID shot, you can pay money to get a card. We found out that one person paid $892 for one of these cards. Scammers know that these are a hot commodity right now. Another one, okay, and this one is, we really got to pay attention to. If you did get your COVID-19 shot, you might get a survey. Now, I got a survey from where I went and got my shot from Methodist. And it basically said on there, have you had symptoms, 1 or 2? Have you had this, 1 or 2? Now, a real survey would never ask personal information. There are fake surveys out there, guys. Fake surveys when you get your COVID shot. Why are they doing these? Again, the root of all evil, money. They're going to say in order to cover the reward, because you're going to get a reward for this shot, they need your bank account information, or they need money to cover shipping. Now, this is one of the actual fake surveys from Visor. And the wonderful thing is Visor is going after these scammers. Now, you see our email over here, welcome. And again, remember how we put our mouse over that. When you do that, it's this weird email. But look over here at the actual survey they send you. First off, remember, scammers can do and will steal logos. They stole the Visor logo. Did you know we have lots of people that steal the Better Business Bureau logo? We have a whole department that goes after those scammers. People steal logos. And then if you read it, they're offering you money. Who doesn't want $90? It's free to take the survey, and take the survey now. They want you to take it right now. This is a scam, but it looks legitimate. This is the second one that we're getting. Now, this one's a little more non-specific. Your opinion is needed. Now, if you're like my dad, he wants to give his opinion to anyone, right? So he feels good. I love my dad, but anyways, but it makes you feel good. It makes you feel like a proud American because you're going to save lives. They're going to make you feel good, right? Not only are you going to feel good, you're going to get paid. Your opinion means something. $1,220 for your opinion, right? And it's free. My favorite word. Now, remember, I hope if you don't learn anything today, you'll learn Medicare won't call you, the government won't call you. But I also want you to remember this line. You will get, nothing in life is free, but your mama's love it. Anytime you see the word free on anything, nothing in life is free. Surveys are not free. You spend your time. There's no such word as free. Provide valuable research information. You want to be a good, proud American, don't you? Then you need to take this survey because your opinion matters. But wait a minute. look at the survey. If you look at it, that's a generic photo right there. If you look at the right now, we are offering a reward program for, wait, why is reward program in the letter F bolded? That just looks really shoddy because it's a scam. Did you know if you click on this one or click on that one, either one you click on, it's going to load viruses to your computer. So this is what I want you to know. And this is from our National Senior Medicare Patrol. We want you to be on the lookout for these. Legitimate surveys, my friends, will not offer you money, gifts, or incentives to take them. Sorry. Also, they won't say you have to take this survey now. And again, take that mouse, put it over the cursor. Make sure you know that logos can be stolen. Look for language and phone numbers. Research the phone number. Better yet, I want you to know this too. If you take these surveys, any surveys, they won't ask for your personal information. They won't ask for your address. They won't ask for your social security, your Medicare number, your date of birth. They won't ask for any of that. Now, there is a very safe thing that you can do. Now, this is the Centers for Disease Control, known as the CDC. They have something called a V-Safe program. CMS, which is Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, Centers for Disease Control, and the vaccine companies, Pfizer, Moderna, Johnson & Johnson, they're all together on this. And they're directing folks to this website called VDC V-Safe. If you're like my dad that likes to give his opinion, this is what you need to do. This website, all it does is ask you, did you have symptoms from the shot? That's it. It will not ask you for anything else. Only did you have symptoms from the shot? That's it. We do an email once a month called Scam of the Month, where we take the most popular scam of that month, record it, and send it out. If you'd like us to send that to you, just send us an email, no pressure. And I'm going to send all this information out to Reverend Stone. And now I can take questions and read the comments. And anybody have any questions while I get a sip of coffee?
Well, I would love to know, Jennifer, is there any way, so I get lots of robocalls too, and I actually get really mad because I know, as a priest, I don't know who's calling all the time, but it's important for me to answer the phone. So you have any thoughts on, when I see it's from, and I have a Georgia area code because that's where I got my phone.
Okay.
So I hit don't answer, then I go to the information and I block that number, even though I know that they'll be calling again, right? Is there anything else I can do to kind of weed those out? Often if I pick up the phone, I've only done this 2 or 3 times. There's not even anybody there. Like you say, it'll just click off because they wanted to see if I was going to answer.
So I'm going to send you a wonderful list, and it's going to list a lot of the cell phone providers.
Okay.
And a lot of times what we don't realize is when we purchase our cell phones, no matter how old they are, when we pay our bill, we're actually paying for services that they're not going to tell you about. I hate to say that, and they're free.
Yeah.
For example, I have Verizon, and I didn't know that there was a call blocker on my phone. And a lot of times what those do is those automatically go to, it hangs up. So when they call your number,
Yeah.
if you register, it hangs it up. The way they get that list also is when you call us, we write down those numbers, even if they're spoofed. We send it to the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission. They send it to the cell phone companies, and they keep those up on those apps. Also, there's no mo robo. I can never say that, but it's all going to be on that list, Reverend, where you can see like all the different phones, T-Mobile, AT&T, Verizon. We usually keep in contact with those folks. Also, you're a consumer, you're paying your phone bill. You have the right to call them and say, hey, I'm tired of this, fix it. And they'll actually tell you how to kind of get rid of those robocalls through your settings.
Okay.
So absolutely.
Thank you.
We're citizens and we pay our bills. We can complain.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
Well, Jennifer, I'm super, super grateful you've spent your time with us on a Sunday morning. I'm glad you were able to attend church where you go. And again, you're not even seeing everybody on the screen that is extremely interested in this. Really, really helpful. And what I'm going to do when you send me that list is I'll post it to our weekly mailer so that people can check out and access it. Yeah.
Absolutely. And thank you all for attending. Reverend Stone, it was fun presenting with you. Thank you for giving your input too. And anytime you guys see anything, let us know, because we do keep this up weekly. So I have to memorize everything every week. So we do really want to hear your input.
Really, really grateful. Thank you so much, Jennifer.
Thank you. Y'all have a good Sunday.
Thank you.